All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I believe everyone can see my voice. I think you need to mute your mic. Sorry for that. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Welcome to CodeSphere Hub. Today's session would have a discussion with Arulu Abimbola and Dr. I hope I'm still audible. Okay. Please mute your mic. Sorry. Because I keep hearing myself. All right, thank you. So welcome everyone. Today's session would be about actioning data for smarter business decision. And we have two humble guests today, which is Arowolo. Sorry, I keep pronouncing your name wrongly. Arowolo Abimbola, who is a data consultant at Ongzi Data UK. And we also have Dr. Jabelo, who is a senior economical analyst at Business Day Nigeria. Please let's give an emoji that's clapping or a like emoji to encourage them. We also have here the founder of CodeSphere Hub. He's supposed to be here, but is unable to join today. He would be joining, but he might not be able to pay so much attention to us today. So great to have you, Doctor. Great to have you, Abimbola. Before I start today's agenda, I'll give an introduction about myself and about CodeSphere Hub. Okay, so I am Irat Arion Adeoju. I'm the head of data and AI at CodeSphere Hub. CodeSphere Hub is a platform on a community where we have people who are enthusiastic about data, about tech in general, and we usually try to encourage work together. We have a community on WhatsApp, other platforms as well, where we encourage people. We give free sessions as well, just like one of the sessions that will be coming up very soon, which is the PL 300 exam preparation, which would be carried out by myself, the founder and the co-founder of CodeSphere Hub. So if you are yet to register for that, I think I'll be dropping the link on the group chat, or someone will be dropping it on the group chat in case you need to register if you're interested in a 1 month free examination preparation class for the PL 300, which is Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Associate. Today's agenda will be straightforward, nothing exhausting. It will be so much fun because we'll be having conversation or presentation from the head of data consultation at Ongzi Data, which I mentioned, Arolowo Abimbola. She'll be discussing actioning data for smarter business decisions. After that, we'll have a presentation from Dr. Ojabilo as well, conversing about the economic insights and data-driven decisions or data-driven decision making. Of course, we'll have a panel session or discussion after that, and I would get questions from the audience yourself. So please welcome me, Abimbola. I don't know if she's on the call already. Right, thank you. If she's on the call, would like to have you now. While that is going on, while we're waiting for her, I'll check if there's anyone who is available to drop, the moderator who is available to drop the link to the PL 300 class in case you want to register. I'll be dropping the link to our WhatsApp community as well.
Hi. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Abimbola. Nice to meet you. Would like you to show your face and also give an introduction to those that don't know you here on this call. I think most of the people that know you from LinkedIn will be very familiar with this particular image, or even the WhatsApp community group.
All right. Just give me a second.
Okay. In case you haven't joined Abimbola's WhatsApp community group, she has a community group for people in data where she drops insights and information that might be useful. So if Abimbola can drop the link, that would be helpful for those of us that are unaware or are not here. If you have any questions for us today, maybe during the discussions, and you want to ask, you can always drop it on the group. There's a chat session on this call where you can drop your questions and we'll make sure to respond as soon as we get to the Q&A session of today's discussion.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I
All
hope you're
right.
available now.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think your screen is.
Okay.
Yes, we
Hello,
can see your
everyone.
screen.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
so
most of us are.
excited. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes, I said most of us are muted, so we've just been dropping emojis. We'll be dropping emojis to respond to you. greetings.
All right, that's
Yes.
fine. That's fine. So before I say anything, I would like to share my screen first. So let me
Okay.
quickly do that. Mm,
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. Okay, that's fine then. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
You're all in this program. So basically, really excited to be here. When I got the information that I will be sharing insights on um, analyzing data for smarter business decisions, is got to me that this is something that I'm most interested in, because whenever I get to talk about analyzing data for smarter business, anything that has to do with data at all, it's something that gives me so much joy, because I really want to impact other people's life. I started from nowhere, and thankfully today I'm thriving. I'm going up gradually in my career. So I really love to also mentor and then impact other people's life, just like how others have done to me, right? So this is just, it's going to be a short talk, but in the process, I want to believe that we'll be getting some insight from wherever that it is I'll be sharing today, right? So this is just like a little bit about me. I'm sure that she would have introduced me prior to when I joined, but this is just for you to know a little bit about me, who I am, and what I do. So my name is Abimbola Arolo. I'm a data consultant at Onyx Data, and I'm a Microsoft MVP under the M365 Excel. I'm a co-founder of TechSavia. TechSavia is like a an ed tech where we train people for free on different um, tech stacks that people want to actually venture into. And I'm also a content creator and a community builder. And one of the things I also do is to mentor upcoming newbies in the field, people that want to start a data analytics journey, people that want to start, whether or not you're starting or you've started and then you just need somebody to put you through what you're presently doing. I do that at my leisure time, right? And I also teach data analytics. Yeah. So that is just a few about me, basically what I do. And if you want to connect with me, my name is Abimbola Arolo on all my socials. So you'd find me there. Now, what are we going to cover today? I'm sorry, I got my class to be interactive, but you said they are all muted, right? So that means they won't be able to respond
Actually,
while I
they can
talk.
unmute themselves. So if there's anyone, if you want it to be
Okay.
interactive, we can just, as the audience, you can unmute yourself to have the discussion.
All right. Okay, that's fine. So just like she said, if there is, when I ask a question and you want to talk, you can just unmute and then speak. Right. So this is basically what we'll be covering today: why data matters and how businesses use data. And then I'll be sharing some simple decision framework that I use in my work presently, that I've used previously as well. And then some mistakes, major mistakes to avoid while working with data. And if you're just starting with right? So now let's start with why data matters. Why does data matters? In fact, the very first question I love to ask is, why do you think data matters so much that you decided to be a data analyst? I'm sure before you picked interest in becoming a data professional, whether you want to be a data scientist, a data analyst, a data engineer, whatever skill that you want to learn at the moment, you must have had an encounter, you must have done your research, you must have had something that triggered you, something that pushed you to want to come into the field, something that interests you to, okay, this is the reason why I want to come into this field, because I love to work with numbers. I came into the data field because I I I just want to help businesses. I love to solve problems. So you should have a reason why you're here and what you're working towards doing. That's what I'm trying to drive at, right? So why did you choose to be a data professional? That question, I don't want to make this a long talk, so I'll just leave it to us individually. You need to ponder on that question, ask yourself. The reason why I mostly ask this question is because so many people just want to come into the field and then they start learning these skills, right? And because really don't know why they're starting, along the line, they tend to give up, and they just feel like, no, maybe data is not for me. So it's very important that you know the reason why you're starting, why you are even in the field, and what you're looking out for, what you're wanting to gain after all the stress of learning the skill and acquiring all the knowledge that you need to acquire. So I'll leave that to an individual to come up with the answers that they need, if at all you haven't gotten an answer for yourself already, right? So many people will tell you that the reason why they chose to come into the field is because they love to solve problems. Me particularly, I came from a different background. I came from the chemistry education background. In fact, I was a chemistry teacher prior to when I transitioned to data analytics. And one very thing that I usually keep me going is whenever I think of the fact that I love to solve problems. I love to be that person at the forefront that, okay, because of how we were able to do this, we did this because of the insight she shared with us, because of the recommendation she gave. Like, those things are stuff that actually keeps me happy whenever I get to solve problems. I tend to be very happy that, okay, I was able to do this with my help. People are able to achieve some of the things that they do, right? So I'm just giving you an example, an instance of what I do and how I think about the data profession, right? So like I said, I will leave that to us to ponder and then think about why we are in the field. Now, coming back to what we have here, why data matters. Now, data matters for so many reasons. In fact, there are countless reasons why data matters. But I just have a few here. I just have four here, but it's going to be like just to summarize everything falls on that what I have listed here. So the first point I have here is data matters because it helps to give faster decisions. In fact, it helps for faster decision making. Now, I feel without data, you cannot um, give a better, you cannot help your team to help them make better decisions. Why? Because anything that has to do with a business, if you are not working with the data in that setting, then you are doing it very, very wrongly, right? So you want to make sure that wherever you find yourself, in whatever thing you're doing, even as a person, as a human being, I tend to just, most of the things I do, even in my daily activities, my income, my expense, I want to inculcate data analysis into everything, because I'm trying to work with, okay, what data do I have to work with before I take this decision? What do I need to look into? What are those things I need to look out for before I take this particular decision? Now, that is what helps you to it guides you in the process of taking the right decision. Now, we understand that taking right decisions is not solely on what you decide to do, but based off on how well you're able to get those insights from the data and what you're able to do with the data that you've gotten, it would help you to make the decisions that you get to make. So data helps to empower teams to react quickly and confidently to market changes and opportunities. Now, data also helps reduce waste. Now, when I say reduce waste, I don't mean the regular waste we have. Of course, we are data professionals. We understand what it means. It means that it helps to optimize resource allocation. It helps to identify inefficiencies and significantly cut operational costs. Now, if you're in the business setting, if you're working as a data analyst or whatever field you are in the data profession, you would agree with me that once you're done analyzing your data, once you're done with the whole analysis, now the next thing that comes into play is, so what? Like, what do you want us to do? If you're showing your dashboard, if you're presenting your dashboard to the stakeholders, of course, they are seeing the beautiful dashboard that you've created, but they want to know why, what comes out from that dashboard. Are you just showing us the dashboard for the sake of it, or you're telling us a problem, you're giving us a problem, and you're giving us the solutions to the problem that we need to solve, right? So it helps reduce waste. And under this point, you would also in the business setting, in the career field, the career line, whatever thing that you're doing as to working with your data set, it helps you work in a way that while you're done with your analysis and you need to present it to the stakeholders, you can help spot places whereby they need to for instance, cut expenses, they need to increase budget for advertisement, they need to stop some parts of the things that they are doing, depending on the field that you're working on. But it would help you streamline whatever thing that they are doing to suit them and then to their own advantage, right? So it has so many advantages. I wouldn't want to dwell so much on this, so let me just summarize it very quickly. It also helps for customer understanding. Now, of course, we all know this because if you're a data professional, you must have most likely worked on a data set, sales data or an e-commerce data. So you would understand that it helps with the whole customer understanding. It helps you gain insight into the customer behavior, the preference, and the needs to tailor experiences, which is very, very important. Then it also helps for stronger planning. So if you are working with data, of course, you're going to have a more focused planning mindset. It's going to improve your accuracy. It's going to mitigate risk and then build robust strategic plans for the future. So there are a lot more benefits as to why data matters. But with this few, we understand the whole process of why we need data. And I don't think there is no business, or there is, in fact, aside businesses, companies, organizations, as individuals, we also need to get our own data and then try to make sense of our own data. It helps a lot, right? So data matters in whatever stage, whatever phase, whatever step, whatever thing that you're doing, data matters. Now, what data-driven really means? Now, data-driven decision, it helps of course, make clear answers to critical business questions. Now, if you're a data professional and then you're working with data sets, you should understand what the data-driven means, because in fact, I've seen a lot of professionals that really don't understand these terms. What they do once they come into the field is that they just want to learn how to build dashboards, or they just want to learn how to clean data alone, and then they feel like they're already data professionals. But then data goes way beyond that, right? Please permit me to can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We are with you.
Hello.
Yes, we
All
can.
right.
We are with you.
Please, I'll, okay, please let me put off my camera. This is that here.
Okay.
All right. So I was talking about what data
You stopped
driven
sharing your
really
screen.
means.
Sorry. You stopped
My
sharing your
screen is
screen.
not up.
Yes, it's not. It went off.
Wow. Okay. Please give me a minute.
Okay, so it's up again.
All right. Okay. So I was actually talking about what data driven really means. So like as I was saying, data, it's very important that as data professionals we understand the process of having to work with your data sets down to all the things that you need to know and what you need to do, right? So you don't just think that because you've been able to clean the data and then just build a dashboard on Power BI and then that's all you need to do know about data, or that's what, or because you can write SQL queries and then you got some insights and you feel like, okay, this is what I can do at the moment. So that is not all about, that's not all you need to know about data, the data field, the data career. Now you need to be able to, aside just working with the data, cleaning it, transforming your data sets, having to build dashboards. There are other very important things. In fact, I tell people, without if you just dwell solely on cleaning and building your dashboard, that means to me you've not done anything, because anybody can do. In fact, we are in the AI era right now, and then so many people, so there are so many tools, there are so many apps that can actually do that with in seconds. Like you just show the data and then they just give you your dashboard and then clean your data for you. But AI can, ChatGPT can even do it. Microsoft Copilot can also do that. So the point I'm trying to drive data, right now, the first thing is that you want to understand what is happening. Now, what are you even, why are you even working on that data set? Why do you have it? Why were you selected? Why are you the person working on this data? What does it entail? What does the data tell you? Now, it's very important that while before you even start working on any data, you understand the data, you know what it entails, you understand all the columns, you know what each column stands for, what it carries, right? So that way you're able to think through, because you're not just using a tool to analyze your data. You also, as a data professional, need to have an idea about it, so that whenever something goes wrong, of course you know that this is not right, because you had an understanding of the data before you started working on it, right? So you need to know what is happening to be able to identify trends and patterns. Now, you need to also know why it is happening, right? Aside just knowing what is happening, why is that particular thing happening? And this is where you now get um to start building your dashboard. You need to start working on analyzing and then bringing out insight from your data, right? Why is it happening? Okay, you already know the problem. You know the root cause, where the problem is coming from. You already know the problem. Now the solution should be, what can I do to solve this problem? Now, what is happening that would actually help me um get the solutions to the particular problem on ground? Now, why is it happening? So you need to understand the fact that aside just knowing what is happening, you should understand why that particular problem is actually happening, right? In order for you to solve the problem in a very good way. So this is where you get to uncover root causes and correlations. Now, the next thing that you need to know is, what should we do next? Aside just having to know the problem and then finding solutions to that particular problem, you also need to understand that as a data professional, you need to you need to give what should a particular firm, what should a particular organization do next after having to give them all that they need in the lineup. For instance, if your manager comes up to you and gives you a data set and tells you, work on this data for me, I want to understand the problem. We have a problem, and this is data we got from the site, for instance, and we just want to know why customers are churning, or they just want to understand something happening in the organization. Of course, they are giving you that data set. What if now there are so many data professionals that I think whilst they are learning, because of the process of learning, while some organizations, some training institutions, they give you the problem, they list out the problem they want you to solve from the data. Now, if you now come to the real world setting, you might not really get the problems. Your manager might not tell you, this is what we are going through. We don't want, this is what we want you to solve. No, they just tell you, I don't think everything is right, but this data we have, can you help get insight from this data? Now you're left to find the problem as a data professional. That is where you need to even know what is happening. Now you need to understand the whole company. Okay, what is actually going on? What is going wrong? For you to even understand what the problem is actually. So you're going to get the problem yourself, then thinking through, using the data set to get what to even help solve that problem, right? Getting a solution to solve that problem. Then you now come down to getting recommendations, giving the next steps as to what they can do to solve the problem, right? So it is not just about having the problems listed out. I'm just giving you instances as to what you can expect while in the real world setting. Working with data, you might not have managers that will just tell you, okay, I have this particular problem. And if you're a freelancer, because I work as a freelancer, I do freelancing, and I've met some clients that they would actually not tell you in full that this is the problem that they actually want to solve, that they want this data to solve. They will just give you that data, and then you are left to work with it and then bring up the insights and the solutions, the recommendations that you want to give using that data, right? So the long and short of it all is that you need to understand what you're working on, why you have the data you're working with. You need to understand the problem, understand your data, the problem, understand why you're actually doing what you're doing. Then you need to now know what is happening, so that in that way you are able to give solutions to the problem that you already got. Now, the next thing you need to do is to get to know what should be done after you've gotten all those answers, all those solutions from the problem that you got, right? Very, very important. You don't just stop at giving insights. No, please give up ideas, recommendations. What should they do to fix the problem? It is very, very important. Now, the next point, what we're going to talk about is where data helps. So today's session is just basically on how we can use data to help make smarter business decisions. So the whole process entails that you're able to understand your data. It all boils down to knowing the kind of data you are even working with. Now, I've had a mentee that had a data set to work on, more like a project. And in the process, while we were communicating, I saw the dashboard and I was like, okay, this dashboard is actually very, very nice. But then when I started conversing with the mentee, he started telling me that when I asked some questions, he would tell me that he just got it using Power BI. I'm like, I don't understand, because you can't, if I was to be your manager, or if I was to be a stakeholder asking you these questions, you wouldn't reply me. You wouldn't tell me that you just got it. You just used bar charts to get the insights. You need to stand firm and then be able to explain the insight that you've gotten from the data, aside just having to show the charts, build a very beautiful dashboard. You need to be able to explain it and tell them that, okay, this is what I got from the data, and then these are the solutions that we need to these are the measures we need to take in order to get solutions to the problem, right? It is very, very important. So you don't just come up with the beautiful dashboard. So I just, after the whole conversation, I got to find out that his focus was totally on building that dashboard to look very, very good. And he lost focus in the process, because while you're focusing too much on the dashboard, you might along the line not even really understand what you're doing, because you're focused on the aesthetics, and then you're forgetting the data part, what you presently need to do. So I had to put him and then tell him what is very important of him to know and what is very important as a data professional. Of course, having to build a dashboard, a nice dashboard, is important, but then you don't just put all your focus on that and then forget the important things that your stakeholder will want from you, your manager will need from you, right? So very, very important. Now, data helps in so many fields, so many industries, so many ways. Data insights can revolutionize various key business areas, leading to enhanced performance and growth. So, of course, we know data helps customers in when we talk of the behavior of the customers, feedback, churn predictions. In fact, I think most data analysts, yeah, what you're starting, the available demo data that most people work with falls under the customer data, because mostly work with the sales data, you work with the churn analysis, you work on churn analysis, you do behavior feedback analysis, and so many others, right? So customers is not something new to everyone, because of course, in one way or the other, you might have worked on a data that has to do with customers and their behaviors. Now we have the operations aside just customers. Now data also helps with operations. Now this is where you need to work. If you're working under the supply chain, you need to have to process the efficiency and then work on the bottlenecks that you have in that particular organization, right? So data helps in various ways. It also helps in marketing, in the product team, in so many things. Like even in most organizations, they do it in such a way that each team have their own data analyst. That is how you know how important being a data analyst is, because they understand that they cannot just have one data analyst to cover all the teams that they have in the organization. Now, in my previous organization where I was working, I was hired to be a data professional in the admin team, right? So I was a data professional in the admin team. That means that I need to work with data gotten from that team, which is something that most people might like, oh, wow. Because you understand that if you are going into an organization, you would expect that, okay, it might not be, I tell people, it might not, if it's your first time getting a job, you might have envisioned that, okay, this is the kind of data set I'll be working with. And then when you get there, you meet something totally different. So while you're learning, while you're working on several data sets, you want to make sure that you are not just focusing on one particular industry, because you don't know, I mean, you don't want to make sure that you're not focusing on one particular aspect of the data that you're working with, whether or not I don't want to be that person that will focus on every time you're working on sales data. Please explore. There are so many other data sets that you need to explore, that you need to be able to work with. In fact, I tell people that while you're learning, don't use a particular data to keep learning, because it's going to just box you down. Learn in a particular way that whatever task you're giving, whatever kind of data you're giving, you can still confidently analyze that data and bring up insight and recommendations from that data. It's going to help you a lot in whatever field you find yourself in the future, right? So there are so many fields where data helps, and it's actually a very good thing, because it brings up more opportunities for people in the long run, right? So coming down to the real world application, I think I've spoken a bit on that aspect. Now, under the real world application, you would actually work so well with cleaning data when if you're in the business setting or wherever organization, wherever you're working, you would most likely be cleaning your data sets. Let's say data cleaning might take about, I mostly say 60 to 80% of your time, because you need to be sure that your data is very clean. You need to transform your data so well before you even venture into analyzing the data or bringing up insights or building your dashboard or whatever thing that you want to do next after data cleaning. But it is very important that your data is very cleaned so that your insights would come out clean as well, right? So transforming businesses challenges into tangible results through a structured data-driven approach. Now, this just covers what I've been talking about right from when I started talking. It talks about the problem, the data insight, the action, and then the result. So it's still going back to what I've said previously. So you just want to make sure that while you're working on the problem, you understand, you get the right insights, and then the next thing is to get to give in the actions that should be taken, and then finally the results should come up, and then everything should work well for the team that you're working with, right? So in the real world application, I think I mentioned that previously in the last slide, you would most likely meet something totally different from what you're expecting from your previous experiences. The key is just for you to be able to smartly take charge as you go, right? If you're going into a new field, a new place, and then you see that, oh, this is not what I learned, this is not what I knew previously, then it's fine. You can quickly learn, you can quickly come up with ideas, with courses that would help you to level up and then be in that position where you can confidently help the organization, right? So the key is to learn smartly, learn rightly. Yes, so you don't want to just learn for the sake of a particular. That's the reason why I'm very key on, don't just use one particular data set and then because you're able to clean that data set and build a dashboard and give recommendations, you feel like you are very good, and then you can now start working as a data professional. Please give yourself time. Try to get several data sets, even if you are that person that wants to focus on one particular field. Like I know people that, of course, you're a health analyst, you're a product analyst, whatever field that you want to focus in. Yes, it's fine, but then you need to have a broad understanding so that you understand what you're doing, right? So that whatever comes your way is something that you can actually do. So this is just the 5-step framework. I'm not going to talk too much on this because I've rightly mentioned it. So I'll just list them out as we round up. About rounding up now. So you just is sorry, does anybody want to say something? I think all right. So the 5-step framework we have is okay. Sorry, I didn't get you.
Okay, so I was saying that no one was about to speak, that you can just continue with this.
All right, thank you. So the 5-step framework that I said I was going to share is still goes down to what I've been saying. Now it's having to understand the processes at which you need to work rightly. Now, one of the things that I see that a lot of people make more, I would say it's a very big mistake that professionals might make when working with data. They tend to just get the data and then want to start working on it without asking the right questions. Now, asking the right question is very, very important, because if you don't ask the right questions, then along the line, you might end up doing something that most likely is not even really needed at that particular time. Or you might solve a problem and then you just had a mismatch. You had to put in to do something different from what you were supposed to do, because you didn't have a clearer view about what you're supposed to do. So it's very important that you ask the right questions before you even start to do anything, before you pick up a data and then even start to understand it. Whilst you're understanding it, if you get more questions to ask, please ask more questions. Don't shy away from asking questions. It's very important, because if you don't ask questions, you wouldn't know. So asking questions will even give you better understanding of what you're working with, and that way you are able to pick up that data and then work confidently with it. Right now, the next thing is to make sure you're working with the right data. Make sure you're working with the right data. Now, I think 2 months back, I was in a conversation with a data professional, and then he told me that he had a client that wanted him to work on a data set, but the client wanted him to get solve a problem for him, but the data that the client sent was something totally different from how he was even supposed to solve that problem, to get insights and then recommendations for that client. So if, as a data person, if he hadn't understood the data, if he did not go through the data and then try to make sense of the data, he wouldn't have known that this data is not, there's nothing here to show for what the client wants or what the stakeholder wants, right? So you want to make sure that the data given to, if you are not collecting the data yourself, because in most cases you might be the one to collect the data yourself, but if you're not doing that yourself, if you're being sent the data, please confirm and then make sure that that data is the right data that you will need to work with to get the insight that you need. Clean and prepare the data, very important. Then analyze and visualize your data. Now, this step is very, very important because, of course, to explain your insights, you want to make sure that you come up with charts and great analysis that would help you explain and then present your insights clearly. Right now, the next thing to do is, the next step is to turn insight into action, which is very, very important. Like I said, you want to implement strategies based on the findings that you've gotten and then monitor their effectiveness. Aside just giving recommendations, you also want to monitor how effective that recommendation went, right? So in that way, you would even get more data to see whether or not your recommendations are helping the problem or not, right? It's very important, right? So the common mistakes, of course, data overload. People just come up with too much data that would not I think, okay.
Yes.
I thought I was hearing somebody
Yes.
speak.
Yes, yes. It's been a very good explanation. I've been following you right from the start, and I believe everyone who is also joining or who has been with you from the start has enjoyed every bit of it. I was going to inform you that we have someone else who is on the call. I'm going to present, but he has a meeting soon. So I want us to quickly wrap up this so that he's able to
Okay,
discuss his
yeah,
own.
I get. I'm done. I'm almost done. I think this is the last slide already. Okay, so these are the common mistakes that we have that should avoid: data overload, the unused. So many people, they just build dashboards that they don't use, and then you also need to make sure that you're using the right tool to solve the problem, right? To get insight from the data. It's very important. Now, this basically just tells how you start when it comes to working with your data. It's still covering most of the things I've said previously. You need to understand your data, begin with simple focus questions, ask the right questions, and then emphasize taking decisive actions based on the insights. It is very important. Now, data is not the decision, it is the compass, right? So while you're working with your data, you understand that it helps to guide your direction. Now, aside that, it would help to give better help to make better decisions. So you're not just using that data to solve problems, you're also using it to help people to address a particular issue that is on ground at the time. So you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly, whatever thing that you're doing correctly. So basically, I think this is all for now. So based off on what I got, I couldn't make the class interactive because of our time, and then the fact that a lot of us are our mics are mute on mute. So for that reason, we just had to do it very fast the way it was done, right? So if you want to connect with me, my name is Abimbola Ruvolo on all my social platforms. You can find me there, and then connect with me, right? So I think that will be all for today's session. If you have any questions, you can drop in the chat, or let me just
Okay,
raise
thank
your
you
hand.
very
Let me
much,
know.
Abimbola. That was a very good presentation. Yes, you said it wasn't interactive, but listening, the storytelling skill, we could detect it right from the presentation you just gave. There's someone on the chat who was asking if they could get access to the presentation slide.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can share.
Okay, thank you very much. You can help us include that. If you're able to wait on the call while Dr. Ojabilu gives his presentation, you can take the questions at the end. Okay, thank you very much. So I'll be calling on to Dr. Ojabilu, who is going to be discussing with us, is going to be discussing the topic economic insights and data-driven decision making. Please, sir, you're welcome. You can have you now.
Thank you very much, moderator. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Yeah,
clearly.
good afternoon. Thank
Good
you.
afternoon, Doctor.
Thank you very much for having me here today. So,
It's my pleasure.
so, so
Before you
let me,
start, sir, I would like you to give an introduction to those of us that are just finding out who Dr. Ojabilu is.
okay, I will do that.
All right.
I'm trying to set up the PowerPoint. It's just a very short PowerPoint presentations. So I think, did you guys pin this? Hello?
Yes, I would pin this now. Yes, I'll meet you.
It's not
I've pinned this.
flowing. So I want to share it, but it's not
Okay, I
functioning
think you
well.
stopped sharing it.
I've stopped sharing.
Yes, you've stopped sharing.
Yeah. Can I share again now?
Yes, please.
Mhm. It's not moving. That's the challenge. It's not moving.
Is it the PowerPoint slide that
Yeah.
Doctor, so I think I can share the slide from my own end while you
Okay.
present, sir.
Okay. Can you do that for me, please?
Okay, sir.
So let me stop sharing straightforward. Should I stop sharing straightforward? Okay. I'll
Yes, sir.
stop
Yes, sir. Yes,
sharing.
sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. But it's still not moving here. So you control it at your end, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So thank you very much, moderator. It's a wonderful day meeting you. I like the way you handle the program. And for the last presenter, that's a very good one. So there are some information I don't have access to before,
Thank you very much.
which I've also learned from her. Just to go by the adage of scholars that says that knowledge is continuum. You cannot know it all.
Let's continue.
You learn from others to be better. And today, I spent close to like 50 minutes listening to her, and I will tell you categorically, the time I spent has not gone unfulfilled. So I appreciate Abimbola for your nice presentation. May God give you more intensive memory to be able to do better next time than this. So good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today to discuss topic on harnessing data for smart and effective decision. This is a central focus of every business in order to be successful. By the way, I'm Dr. Jabelo Oluwatobi Oluwaseun. So I specialize in field of economics. I'm the first environmental economist in West Africa. So when it comes to environmental issues and the cost implication, so I'm there. When it comes to fiscal policy, monetary policy, I'm there. When it comes to developmental economies, econometrics and statistics, I'm also there. So there is a particular code which I like so much when it comes to data analysis, which I do tell people to look into it intensively before they come up with the results from the data analysis. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hello. So the code is, according to Edward Deming. Edward Deming is a renowned statistician and a quality control expert. According to him, he said, in God we trust, other things bring data. Without data, you are just another person with an opinion. Meaning that we may assume and we may believe anything God does, but anything human does have to come with evidence. We cannot prove the existence of God, but we are feeling his existence. That is only God that you cannot prove his claim. But any claim by a human being should come with an evidence. Any claim that does not come with an evidence is just an opinion of another person who does not hold any water. That is what Edward Deming believes in. And that has always been my own quote when it comes to using data to provide identified solution. So next slide, please. Let me give you a short story. Something happened some time ago. I think a few years ago, I was beckoned on by an organization. The entity was struggling with growth. Managers were making decisions based on intuition and experience, without knowing that intuition and experience is key, but it's not a determinant of effective decision. What they experienced in that company was that sales was stagnant, inventory was piled up, and staff were frustrated. So their manager called me. He's a friend of mine. I don't want to mention the name of the company. It's a medium-sized company. He said, Ojabelo, please, we are facing a particular challenge. We've done everything we could do, but unfortunately, we have not experienced any growth. Ojabelo, can this be tantamount to spiritual factor? I busted into Harper. Baba, what is spiritual there? Although in Africa there is metaphysical, but when it comes to business decision, you have to look for unaccountable data. When you say spiritual, how do you want to capture the data? So let us look beyond that. And I ask him, so can I get some information about the behavior of the customers? I got some information about the behavior of the customers. I got their purchase pattern. I got their inventory turnover and some other insights about the company. The next thing, I look at the industry where the company operates. What are the entities the company is competing with? What are the factors affecting this industry? So when I check all those things, okay, I realize that in the product of that company, there is a product that sells more, but the company don't give that product attention. They give attention to products based on their experience, but without knowing that business environment has changed to that product that sells more, but they don't give cognizance. They were overstocked, but there's no sales. When you are overstocked and there's no sales, there's no way you can cover the operational costs. Then they're talking about retained earnings. So I got to realize this and I gave them advice based on the challenges they face. So at the end of that year, their sales increased by 20%. They are doing well now. They can compete significantly in the industry. So today, I'm going to delve into some key points or flow of this session, understanding data and metrics. There's even between you having the knowledge of the data, there's even between having the knowledge of the industry. Someone call you as a data analyst, please come. Take the data of our company, tell us the problem. Then the next is to analyze the pattern or the business cycle of the firm. You are going to get it wrong. The first thing is to analyze what is happening in the industry. What are the drivers of the industry? Before you go or you delve into the data of the company. You don't know what is happening in a company. You don't know the situation of that company. You don't know the industry they operate. You don't know the factors that drive the industry. You don't know the government policies. You don't know all these things. And you are giving data to analyze. You are going to analyze the data correctly, but unfortunately, it will not hold any water. It will just be as if putting nothing on top of something and you want it to stand. It will not be possible. So that is why when they say data matters, why data matters is to ensure you don't base your analysis on intuition or only experience alone. That does not mean that intuition or experience does not count. It counts, but you don't base business decision on intuition because of subjectivity. So analyzing an organization, you get the market data, the operation, what happened, where does the company operate, what are the challenges of the industry, what is the internal factor affecting the company. All these have to be at your fingertips before you dive into their customer behavior, before you dive into the sales of the company, before you dive into their operational. Some companies are not failing because they are not producing good products. That's what we're talking about, key metrics to track organization. Some company fails today because of operational delay. Look at Boku. Boku came as a competitor into the industry. When Boku came, it used market segmentation to a point that I've never seen a situation before where people kill because they buy bread. And Boku came with a strategy that you have to kill, and we cannot sell more than 2 for you. So when someone asks me what happens, or Jabelo, what can you say about what is happening? I said, no, you need to understand the industry. Who are those customers? What is affecting that industry? Delivery. Some companies fail because of operational. They fail to deliver on time. And the more you fail to deliver on time, the more you are inviting competitors to come into the market. So as a data analyst or a statistician or a lover of data, you don't just delve into pattern of data. You don't just delve into big data, you look for the key metrics: financial factor, operational, customer, and market. You need to understand the business environment before you go further to analyze the data. But when you analyze the data and it go beyond, it go against the business environment, you need to be able to justify it. You cannot be telling someone who has spent 20 years in producing cake that he failed because the quality of the cake is beyond the market. You know, it's below the market or consumer expectation. No. You need to tell the person the current consumer expectation, and you cannot know that one through the data the company provide for you. You are going to know that one through your own external research. So that will not give you, will not merge your external research about the business environment where the company operates with the data of the company to give a better advice. So another thing here is turning data to actionable insight. As I've said it all. Understand the business environment, collect the company's data, then look at what is happening to the company's data by analyzing the data, the behavioral pattern. You look at what happened. You consider the seasonal factor there. Some companies sell more during Christmas period. You advise them, what of if the period fails to come? How do you cope? So when you're advising company that sells more on seasonal factor, you have to be very careful. You have to tell them what they need to do further, even when the season is yet to come, in order to stay afloat. That makes you to be different from intuition and experience. Someone who has been selling cow for the past 10 years, he knew that every Eid tree, people mostly call Ileya, the demand for cow and ram surged almost by more than 50%, according to welfare data. So the person did not go to school, but his experience over time in the business has shaped his knowledge, because experience as well is a factor, but it's not sufficient. But as a data analyst, you are not telling the person that your business will grow during a layer period, festive period. You will just be laughing. You are telling me what I know. I knew I sell more. So you should tell him, how can he sell more without a layer? That's why you are employed. How can you sell more even when there's no festive period? We know festive period, we experience 70% surge in our revenue, in our sales. But during that period that there is no festive, what is your sales? What are the drivers that might make you to sell more? That is turning data into action, into insight. Next slide, please. You know, leveraging technology for smart decision. You know, Ibrahim has written a lot of articles about AI will not take your job. AI will not do that. AI cannot. AI will take your job. AI will leave you behind. If you can't do beyond what AI can do, there's a lot of software, according to Abimbola, what she has said earlier. Yeah, there's software that will help you to do dashboard perfectly. Did you understand what you have done? Can you link what you have done with real life experience, with the industry experience? Okay, I've done a beautiful dashboard. Good. Your dashboard is aesthetic. Your dashboard, okay, make people to look at, okay, you have something in store. But don't forget, your dashboard is not sufficient alone to recognize you that you are good in what you are doing. It is ability to link your dashboard to the market reality, to the business environment where the companies operate. What are the macroeconomic factors? Subsidy gone. How is it affecting the company? Unification of exchange rate. How is it affecting the company? Insecurity. All those things, you have to explain it in your dashboard in order to advise them why they need to take record for effective decision. All these are data driving. Next slide, please. So you see, there are common challenges and pitfalls people fails. As I've said, majority of people, you just need them big data, they show pie chart, they show flow chart, they show features, they show all these, everything look fantastic, everything look robust, everything look very neat and decent, but everything they have done is not related to the business environment where the company operates. You've done a fantastic pie chart, a fantastic diagram, a fantastic flow chart. You showed everything. You know, all these things are good. You're just a beautiful lady. That man calls here and there. Big hello, babe. How you doing? People call you here and there. But unfortunately, you don't have a value to retain your relationship. What is that value to retain your relationship? Is the attitude. So what is the value to let people know that you are different from people who use intuition and experience alone to make business decisions? It's not the aesthetic quality of your dashboard. It is the interaction of your dashboard with the business environment where the company operates and the data provided for you by the business by the company. Those are the things you should be able to do. You link it together. This is what is happening in the industry, but based on the data provided by the company, this is what is happening in the company. So in this case, that is why my pie chart shows this. My pie chart shows that company X improved based on this factor. Company Y improved based on this factor. Company J improved based on this factor. Company Z improved based on this factor. But unfortunately, based on the data you gave, your company is below average. So what are the things you need to do? Then you advise the company on what they need to do. So the major pitfall people fails is not poor data quality, because some company has a very accountable data, but unfortunately the data analyst does not understand the business environment, does not understand both the external factor affecting the company and the internal factor affecting the company. So analysts majorly look into the data and be talking about the behavior and take like the clean data. No. The first thing is, when you are giving any data about banking sector in Nigeria, you need to go and read, go and do further research about what is happening in the banking industry. What are the drivers? What is happening? What is the position of this company that gave me the data in the industry? What are the competitors? What are the things you need to know? When you know it and you now analyze that data, you see, you'll be laughing. You now know that data talks. Data talks when you can link it with the business environment. So the common mistake we have is over-reliance on vanity metrics. There are some metrics you use that are not reliable. A company that is suffering from decline in sales, a company that you check their data that their sales has always been dropping every three quarters. Instead of you to look at the factor that drives the sales, you are looking at another metric that is talking about cost. So those are the factors. Next slide, please. So those are that is what I called, that's what I called over-reliance on vanity metrics. Poor quality, poor data quality. When the data you are giving does not give you real life situation, that data is not sufficient. How can data give you real life situation? It means you need to understand the environment where the company operates, so that when you are talking, you are linking the company with the business environment where they operate, and you are telling them that their data they provide for you is not good enough, and you give them justification, because there should be correlation between advertisement and sales. When there's an increase in advert, now the company spend on advert and their sales drop, you should know that that is spurious. Then you need to ask, what are the internal factors affecting the company? Are the money properly channeled to where those people will see them? You are selling ice cream or 15 naira for the teens. 15 naira ice cream. That's what you are selling. You are advertising on LinkedIn. You are selling 15 naira ice cream. You are going to University of Lagos to advertise 15 naira ice cream. You don't know your market. Your market are secondary school, primary school target. You need to understand the market. So those are the factors. When you ignore some context, you will analyze it. That you will be analyzing a poor data, you will not know. Because your data will never provide any reliable solution. So strategy to avoid these pitfalls are cross-functional collaboration. You check the data, factors driving the data, all these have to be monitored. Regular audits to see if it's not the company, to check the internal factor. You cannot control external factor. You just have to cope with external factor. But the internal factor, you can control it, you can influence it, you can manipulate it. That's why there's need for regular audits, quality control, forensic analysis. All this have to be done to ensure that people don't go against the procedure set up by the entity to achieve the strategic objective. So there are lessons from retailers that can be someone analyze a poor data. As a result of that, it led that company to overstock due to unverified sales forecasts. You are doing a sales forecast, you don't consider uncertainty in your sales forecast. You are going to advise the company to overstock. And when they overstock, when sales is not coming, they will go and borrow money at higher rates. And when they borrow to take operational, they're having liquidity issue. They may not last, but they have stock. When there's an increase in your closing stock, although they are in accounting, we call it no current, we call it current assets. We now check your stock, there is an increase in it. There is a problem. It means there's no sales. Your closing stock is high, too high. It means there's no sales. So we need to look at what are the drivers. So, next slide, please. So measuring success and continuous improvement. So you have to match your data with the key, you set up the key performance indicators for decision making. You write what is happening to your data when there's an increase in advert. I expected sales to increase by 10%. Okay, if sales now increase, it means one of the key performance indicator is increase in revenue, and that is a good one. It has to link with data. There must not be a spurious relationship between the KPI of a company and the growth of a company. So when the key performance indicator shows positive, it shows the company is growing. So they go in the same direction. So where they go in indirect direction, it means there is a problem. The problem we ask is why, how, what happened. All this will give you a clearer picture. So look at the strategies that predict the future, considering uncertainty that happens. In every data analysis, you have to factor in uncertainty. You have to be deterministic. When you are deterministic and you failed, the company will fail. JP Morgan forecast failed. Fitch forecast failed. A lot of big companies, Financial Times forecast failed. Because of uncertainty, you can see what is happening in Nigeria now. The current surge in insecurity. You have planned that I want to go and do my own dirty December. I want to go and do my own dirty December in North Central of Nigeria. Why are you going to North Central? I mean Kwara. You want to go to North Central. Kwara, you want to go to Benue. You want to go to Niger, North Central of Nigeria, to do your dirty December. Why? Because you think that the atmosphere will be what? Will be stable and it will be cost effective. You've planned yourself, I'm not going to spend more than 1 million naira. But unfortunately, there's high insurgency in that area. And you have advised people, nothing will happen. That place is the best. There is no alternative. Your decision has failed because nobody wants to die. Nobody will follow you there. So when you are analyzing data, you have to give room for what we call uncertainty in order not to be too deterministic. Next slide, please. So thank you very much. My closing remark: data is not luxury. It is the backbone of smarter decisions. The organizations that thrive are those that see data as a strategic asset, that integrate data into everyday decision making, constantly refine their insights. Next slide, please. Thank you for your attention. I'm available for questions and answer. Thank you. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ojabilo. That was a wonderful one. I can see stickers flying up already. Thank you very much for that session. I'm hoping Abimbola is still on the call too, so I can take questions together. But before I move to taking questions, I want to know if there's anyone on the call who is willing to have a 1 minute or 2 minutes conversation with any of our panelists. Is there anyone? Okay, if you are going to be taking the 1 minute or 2 minutes conversation time, you can just raise your hand using the icon below. So I'll be asking a few questions to both Abimbola and Mr. Ojabilo. My first question would be to Dr. Ojabilo, which would be, you've mentioned so much about economics.
I want to find you before Hayat. Hayat, I want you to commit that error for the third time. I know this is what we call reliable correct error. No. So you did it for the first time. I thought the second and the third time I just find your company 1 million here.
I'm so sorry, sir.
Okay. You're
Dr.
welcome.
Ojabilo.
Okay.
I know. So my first question will be around economics, and for people who are just joining, because I noticed you've talked about economics. You are actually a big icon in economics in Nigeria. If there's anyone here who has an idea of economics and is trying to see how they can combine their data analytics skills, or someone who has not gained any knowledge in economics before and is trying to see how they can combine the knowledge of economics and data analysis to become an icon like you, what roadmap would you give them? What advice would you share to them?
Thank you very much, my moderator, Hayat. You see, this is a very succinct and a straightforward question. You don't need to study economics to have knowledge of economics nowadays. The first thing which I've said earlier is understanding the macroeconomic environment where the data are gathered from. The company that called you, that gave you the data, they are operating under the atmospheric condition of Nigeria. MTN Nigeria, BTCO Nigeria. So to align your data driving skills with economy is simple. What you just need to do is to understand inflation rates that come out every month. And you start asking yourself, what will be the impact of this inflation rate on my clients? It comes out every month. You check, okay, what is happening to exchange rates? My clients, do they import majority of their raw materials? Is there any alternative currency they can use? Currency swap? You understand government policy. Okay, what is happening to fiscal policy? Are they bringing in new tax? If they are bringing new tax, why are they bringing it in? How will it affect the sales, the customers of my clients? Is the economy growing? These are data you find every day in business day. So you can subscribe with Business Day. You find all this data every day. Then you see, is the economy growing? Yes, so GDP is increasing, oh, because that data come out every quarter. GDP data. GDP is growing. And whenever GDP is growing, consumer spending is likely to follow. It means the economy is expanding. You need to understand when an economy is expanding. Okay, how will I know an economy is expanding? When GDP is growing, consumer spending is increasing, investment increasing, automatically credit will increase. So we'll now look at all this. Okay, what is that happening to the data given? Interest rates. So what's my business with CBN? And you call yourself a data analyst. A data analyst must match economic reality. What are these economic reality? Economic variables. If they change, what is the effect on so data given to me? But all these companies are microscopic firm in Nigeria. It's not an individual. Economy is aggregate. It is the accumulation of firms that gives aggregate. So we are analyzing password professional tutors. It's just a single. So it is necessary to understand macroeconomic environment. Nobody's asking you to understand what is GDP. We are not asking you to know those ones. How do they compute GDP? No, that is not where you are interested in. You are a practical solution provider. You are not asking somebody what are the components of no. That's where you are is what is the result of GDP Q1 2025. What is the growth rate in Nigeria? When GDP rise in Nigeria in Q1, what happened to unemployment rate? What happened to inflation rate? All these things, you match it with your data. People will now see your data driving skills with economic implication. Thank you.
I think the last sentence you made was very important. I mean, the fact that it's very similar to what Abimbola was explaining about. It's not just you analyzing your data. You need to be able to make the data-driven decision. And for you to make data-driven decision, you need to have knowledge of what is happening generally. So that was a very good one. If there's any course a newbie can go through, which course would you recommend? Or if there's any channel? I know you've talked about Business Day, and I'm sure we've taken note of that. Is there any other platform that they can always go to
check,
get access to this information?
Thank you very much. You see, they can go to MBS, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. You know that those one comes, they present their own data in a complex form. Why Business Day will bring those complex to the same place for a layman to understand. Did you understand? So if if the newbies have the capacity to analyze the MBS, yes, it comes out, they can have access to it, it is always free. But they may not know the interpretation of those things. So they go to Business Day.
Yes, I believe so.
Just like Financial Times.
But the more they get...
Yeah,
exactly.
Financial Times. Yeah, Business Day is the Financial Times of Africa. So the Financial Times, the economists in US, it is Business Day that will depict the same action of those people. So when they understand the reporting side of Business Day, okay, they read, okay, what is the view of analysts? Because we ask questions from experts in the industry. People like Bismarck Rewani. We ask access to Bismarck Rewani. We have access to different professors. We have access to Minister of Finance, where we have some questions about. We have access to investment banking scholars. They give us their own views. So we put together their views to communicate to people. So by the time the newbies understand the reporting side, the implication to business, implication to Nigerians, and average Nigeria, they too can go to those sources and gather their own information in order to make a good forecast, and they will become a renowned person.
Okay, thank you very much,
You're
Doctor. That was
welcome.
very helpful.
You're welcome.
I hope Abimbola is still on the call, because I was going to ask that a similar question to her, because I know Abimbola's aspects of data analysis is a bit different from yours, because yours is more of economics. She's more of sales related or business related data. I don't know if Abimbola is still on the call.
Hello. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, thank you. So my question for you would be, when you were explaining the concept of being able to make data-driven decision. I was going to ask a question that someone asked me recently, which is, how do we know how do we get these soft skills? Because most tech schools would basically teach you the technical part of data analytics. So is there any approach you think a newbie can take to be able to get these soft skills like critical thinking, analytical thinking, and so on?
All right, so that's a very great question. I don't think I covered that while I was talking. So basically, as a data professional, aside just having the tech skills, it's very important that you have soft skills. Soft skills cover a whole lot. We want to talk about communication skills, problem solving skills, having to give your insights correctly, having to confidently talk about the insight that you've gotten and the recommendations that you've gotten as well. Now, coming to critical thinking, what courses can you take? What books can you read? What can you do to get these skills? Because just like you said, most training institutions would not necessarily, in fact, they will not even teach you. They would most likely just teach you the technical skills that you're going to be using in the course of sorry, in the course of your job, your day-to-day activities, what you're going to be doing at your job, at your station, wherever you're working. So how do you get these soft skills? Now, what I recommend is, whilst you're learning, if you're learning the data analytics skills, you need to also evolve beyond what you're being taught. Don't just rely solely on what they're teaching you. You need to be able to explore, take additional courses, read books. Now, for me, the easiest way for you to get these soft skills is for you to interact better with other professionals that are already ahead of you, people that you know that they already have experience. Now, soft skills entails a lot. I just listed a few. There are so many things that you need to know aside just the technical skills for you to thrive whilst working in that particular role, right? So for you to understand the whole process and what you need to do and what not you need not what you need not to do, you need to reach out to people that are already in the field. Now ask them about their experience, what they've been through, what their day-to-day activities are like for them at the office. It will interest you to do. Sorry, I like to tell a lot of stories. That I spoke with someone a while back. I had a clarity session with that person, and then when I spoke about presentation, she said, that she's going to be presenting her work in the office. I'm like, I don't get it. You're learning data analysis, you don't know that you're going to present your work. Of course, some people don't. It's not everybody that actually presents yet, but of course, you should know that you are going to do that at some point in time in your career, like whatever thing you're learning, you should have that skill set. Know that you need a very good communication skill. You need to be confident and know that if you're not confident enough to stand and tell people, okay, I did this and this is my recommendations I'm giving, they will not trust you. They will not even want to believe in what you did, because of course, if you're somebody that you cannot even communicate clearly what you've done, then what you did automatically is not good enough, because they will just feel like you don't know what you're doing. So aside just having to know how to use Excel,
Exactly.
SQL, Power BI, Python, R, whatever tool you're using, please make sure to also catch up with your soft skills. And the ways in which you're going to do that, the first step I said is to reach out to people and then get ideas from them, get insight, get to know what they do, so that way you know what you are focusing on, what you're looking out for, what you're going to be focusing on. Now I'm mentioning communication skills. We talked about critical thinking, problem solving skills. There are many more other soft skills that are important. Of course, there are so many soft skills. So you might not really focus on everything, but the few that you know that for your own job, for your own field, as a data analyst is very important, then you need to start working on it. The earlier, the better. Now there's a book. There are books that you can read. There's so many books to help you with some of these skills. There's so many books that you can read, but one that I would recommend is Think Like an Analyst. When you read that book, it helps you, it gives you more insight as to what you should expect and how well to position yourself in the field. Think then there are other books, but right now I cannot really recall all, but I can send it to the moderator afterwards. If we have a group chat, then you can look through. And there are also some courses, soft skill courses online. You can actually go on YouTube. There are so many that you can actually go through. So they just basically tell you how to do stuff, how to think through things, and how to just basically plan your day before you be in that position whereby you need to actually play the role as a data professional, right? So I think that, yeah, that's it from me.
Mhm. All right, thank you very much for that. The book you also recommended, I would always recommend it to anyone. Think Like an Analyst is a great one, trust me. And as you've mentioned, YouTube is very resourceful as well. There are a lot of YouTubers that discuss things related to thinking smarter, making better decision, being a better problem solver. So you just have to find a way to implement that, because those are skills you get to build by yourself. Thank you very much, Abimbola. Thank you very much, Doctor. I think
Welcome.
that would be my last question. I don't think I have anyone for now. Um, Mr.
Thank you very
Ibrahim
much.
Oladosu, who is the founder, I would like to hear from him too, if he has any question for you,
Okay.
or if you'd like to give
I
his
want to
closing
catch up
remarks.
with the meeting. So I can still spare like 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
I got no question. So let us move to the final remark. So
Okay.
Okay.
So
Permit
thank you
me.
very much, Doctor. I think that's the
Permit me to
question.
leave
So
now.
yes, please. Permission
Okay, you're
granted.
welcome.
Thank you
you very
very
much.
much, sir.
So,
Thank you everyone for joining up onto this stage. I think the final stage of this conversation would be a closing remark from the founder of CodeSphere Hub. Is going to be giving us a remark now. After that, you can always reach out to us on the WhatsApp group. It would also be I think I already dropped on the chat the link to the WhatsApp community for the PL 300 session. So if you'd like to join, just join the WhatsApp group. I would also be getting the presentation slides from Miss Arowolo. So she's going to be sending that to me. If you're on the WhatsApp group, you get access to all of this. Over to you, Mr. Oladosu.
yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon. I'm very sorry I was a bit late, so I've not been feeling too well, so I had to attend to some things. I want to extend my appreciation to everyone who joined today's career section. Your presence, engagement, and dedication continue to always strengthen the learning culture we are building at CodeSphere Hub. So likewise, a special appreciation to our speakers. I think they are not here again. So their insights, they give what examples, their perspective, it added value to today's section. So the clarity, the depth, they both brought to this conversation have enriched our community understanding a lot, and we are truly grateful for the time they give us and to everyone. And my sincere appreciation also goes to our moderator, Ayat our head of data and AI at CodeSphere Hub. Let us appreciate her. Let us all appreciate her all. Let us all appreciate her. She really tried a lot for the section, and thank you so much. We do really appreciate a lot, and likewise to every participant. Thank you for attending, learning, and contributing. Your energy and commitment are the backbone of this community. So likewise, as we continue to go together, I encourage everyone. So please let me share my screen let me share my screen. Let me see if I can share this coming. Okay, share my entire screen. Yeah, so I think I might not be able to share my entire screen due to let me share my entire screen now to see. So can you see the free 1 month exam preparation class? Can you see, is it showing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes,
so together I encourage everyone, likewise. So at first I want to encourage everyone who attended today's section to make a LinkedIn post about today's section. Yeah, so it's very, very vital. I've always been saying this: the LinkedIn posts you have always been making a day, it will specifically make a difference for you. So I met our moderator Ayat on LinkedIn. I met our speaker today, Abimbola. We have been talking a while on LinkedIn, so I also met her on LinkedIn. So you can meet different people on LinkedIn. So I want to make a challenge to everyone. Kindly make a LinkedIn post about today's section. Share your key takeaways. Tag CodeSphere Hub, our distinguished speakers, the moderator, the host. Let your post amplify the impact of our programs and let it inspire others within the broader tech and data ecosystem. So likewise, I'm also pleased to announce that our Power BI Data Analyst Associate class will commence next week, Saturday. So this is everything you will be learning. And by God's grace, we want to make sure our students are certified as a data analyst. So if you take my name on LinkedIn, you see MCDA. So just I'm bragging on LinkedIn. So MCDA really means Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate. So after you've been certified, you can easily add it to your name. So I'm looking forward to see everyone in the class. If you know you have not you haven't joined, we are going to reshare the flyer again on Monday for everyone to join the section. It's starting September 6th by God's grace. So thank you once again for making to this section a success. So let us keep learning, let us keep building and keep moving forward as a community. Likewise, I will also want to recognize Usman Rafiu. For this week, is our top performer for our weekly challenge we have been doing in the community. Let us all appreciate him. Let us all appreciate him. He has been doing well. And then with time, I'm very, very certain. Sorry, I need to stop sharing. So I'm very, very certain with time is also going to be a top data analyst like Ayat, like Abimbola as well. So a challenge to everyone. Let us make a LinkedIn post, and don't forget the LinkedIn post. The weekly challenge is ending tomorrow, and we are definitely going to appoint our top performer for the week. So if you want to be our top performer for the week, if you want CodeSphere Hub to spotlight you in all our social media posts, ensure you have you also be like Usman Rafiu that has been working perfectly to ensure he has been doing all our weekly challenge, going beyond the weekly challenge and adding more details to all of his dashboard. Usman Rafiu, kindly keep it up. And to everyone, Abdul Kudus and the likes, I love your courage in everything I've been doing at CodeSphere Hub. Keep it up. So I want to see everyone at the top. So once again, to our moderator, thank you so much. I really appreciate your work at CodeSphere Hub. To all my the leadership at CodeSphere Hub, thank you so much. So waiting for your LinkedIn post, everyone, on Monday. Yeah. So to the moderator, thank you. I think we can end the section now. So over to the moderator now.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that closing remark. Thank you, everyone. We'll be expecting LinkedIn posts like you mentioned. And that will be all for today's session. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.